Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, good to see some existing people here. So, okay, guys, thanks for joining. Excuse me, on a Monday morning here. Especially this is a week of Thanksgiving, but it's very important for us to meet today at least and give you a chance to ask you questions about the CYSP and also go through the entire process with you in a trial to make it as as efficient and as easy as possible for anyone interested in applying. So I will start first by giving all of you here a quick overview of the program. Then I'll just go to the details of the application itself. Finally, I'll open the floor for any questions you might have. I also give you kind of like an initial prep for this one by asking anyone who is interested to attend our session last week with 4 senior member of the NAF sub, basically who came to IUP to talk to you about the opportunity. These are the people who are generally very interested in our students, and they already have many of our students working with them now or will join them very soon once they finish their program at IUP here. Okay, so without further ado, let me start sharing with you my browser here. And basically, okay, so if you went to the Institute for Cybersecurity, which is this one, this is where almost all of our activities happen, all of our documentation and information about various projects we are involved in. And then you can click on grants. You'll find a nice picture here and many major projects we are running here at IUP. The one you are interested in and the focus of today's session is called DoD Cyber Scholarship Program. So when you click on this one, so what is the CYSP? So CYSP is a great opportunity for junior and senior students, undergrad and also grad, although our program, as you know, don't have many grad students eligible. But basically, we are typically get selected among just some major other schools nationwide to offer our students this great opportunity. Anyone interested in the CYSP must submit an application. And just to make sure you understand the difference between this program and many other, application or scholarship you might think, or you might already have as we speak. This is a grant that is given to IUP. So your application goes to me. I am the PI, and I review all of them. Okay, I evaluate them, and then we submit your application as part of a grant that IUP submit. If the grant get funded, selected, and some of our students also get selected, we will get the opportunity. This is not a scholarship that you directly apply for, and based on your credential, you will get selected for the scholarship or not. No, it has to come through IUP. So there are some other models that you can go ahead and apply directly, like SMART and other models, but this is not the case. Just make sure you understand this at the beginning. So new cycle started actually in early November. I sent an email immediately after that cycle was released, okay? And we updated our website with all the information. Even some of you might already saw the video I had from last cycle. This was held almost a year ago, guys, on November 21st, 2022. So some of the advantages of, getting the CYSP. It will cover all your tuition and fees. And when I'm saying all, I mean all. This includes everything, all tuitions, all fees. Literally, you pay nothing for your education. This is for 2 years if you are an undergrad, and if you are interested in graduate studies, which is again, some of our students already went through that direction, you can get up to 5 years of complete coverage. And they cover whatever tuition you are in. So IUP tuition are not that expensive, relatively, yeah. But you go to CMU or Brown or any of the Ivy League school or very, very high top schools on the nation and worldwide, and the tuition is outrageously expensive. They still cover that. So I have one of my students just, graduated last year and from CISP. She's now at CMU, and others, some went to, Penn State for grad studies. And so these are just for you to realize the magnitude of what we are talking about. If we're talking about the package at IUP only, let me make sure I see some people are still coming on the waiting room. So I need to see here. Okay, if you need to understand the magnitude here, I usually tell my student, and without exaggeration, this is roughly a 50K package every year. So you get it for 2 years, it's around 100K. Again, there's a lot of factors determine, the exact number, and you sign actually for that. We can talk about the details later on, but you will get if you selected, you will get a notice that will evaluate exactly how much, the scholarship costs the government, and you have to make sure that you sign that. So anyway, this year, good news, your stipend increased. So this is for both returning and the new students. So it's now 29K a year. So this typically, I divide this into 2 installments. You get the first payment in fall, which is in this case will be 14,500. And in the spring, at the beginning of each semester, you get half of it, same amount in the spring. If you are a grad studies, regardless your level, master or PhD, you get 34K annual stipend. It will cover all the required books. You have 1,250 roughly 1,250 to cover all your required books in fall and spring each year. Once you receive the scholarship, you get actually up to $1,500 allowance for a laptop or a computer of your choice. You can pick whatever computer you want, you buy it, and will give you up to $1,500. It's very important to understand also the basic requirement of the program. So you have to have some, of course, simple criteria satisfied before considering CYSP. If undergrad, you need to have 3.2 minimum GPA. If you're a grad, it's 3.5. Of course, 3.2 is the minimum requirement. You understand what's minimum requirement. Okay, this is a very, very, very competitive grant. We are talking about people applying from throughout the United States. This is not just IUP or Western PA or Pennsylvania. We're talking about the entire 50 states, okay, across the nation. Students and various centers of academic excellence applying for this scholarship. I believe last year there was a pool of almost 1,500 to 1,900, something like that. Not all of them finished the application, but there's a lot of interest in CYSP, okay, because it becomes very known program. And but at the same time, I'll give you some good news too. Second, you have, of course, to be entering your junior or senior year. So I got these questions a lot. The definition of junior and senior is mainly, let me use a better word here, mainly based on the number of credits you have. So this program starts in fall 2024. If by the end of summer 2024, here at IUP, you are an IUP student and you have completed 60 credits of work. For now, some of you might not even have 30 credits at this time because you don't count the fall and you still didn't get anything in the spring. By the end of that, including if you take any summer courses, if applicable, you have 60 credits at that time, at the beginning of fall, you are eligible to apply now. Okay. If not, if you have 59 credits by summer, end of summer 2020, fall, you are not eligible to apply unless you get 1 credit course in summer. So all of you understand your situation. Of course, it's a case by case. But in this case, just very simple, make sure you have 60 credits by fall, beginning of fall, and you are eligible to apply now. When you accept the scholarship, you accept also a service obligation, and this service basically is to work as a civilian, like any other job, in any of the agencies that will pick you. Okay, we have many of our students actually end up just placed here next to home, some of them even physically next to their home, okay, in central PA, in NAVSUB, in other agency, you have people go to NSA in Fort Meade or other places. But you need to understand that when you sign for that, great scholarship, you also have to, work for them for the same number of years. Okay, that's it. And after this 1 year or 2 years, you are free to do whatever you want with your life. Many people actually continue because the work balance and the benefits of working can be great compared to any other opportunity. Okay, this is generally the CySP, I'm sure you probably some of you saw the flyer here, which I posted everywhere in Stride Hall. So, which basically summarize all what I said here. I'll pause for a second before there's a lot of details, okay, we need to cover, but I need to give you a chance at least to, just absorb some of these details I mentioned and ask even question if you have any. For now, you can unmute and ask any question if you need. I'm not monitoring the chat, by the way, so if you have a question, please unmute your mic and just ask. No questions? I don't see any of your faces, so the only way for me to hear your voice is if you can talk. So if you don't have any question, we'll move on. Okay, so this, okay, so this is the information session. We're going through that now. Scholarship application requirement. Can I see a show of hand here instead of just you guys are just are very silent behind these black holes, and I don't see any of you. Can you just like thumbs up or so regarding how many of you read this document? Great, thank you, Ainsley, Keegan, Karina, excellent. Okay, a lot of you, great. So many of you are really seriously interested, probably clicked on this link that I put on our website for a long time, okay? I went through this, not a comprehensive document, but it's just 6-7 pages talking about the entire program and requirement, background, etc. There's a lot of terminology that some of you might confuse you, but let me make sure you understand that. The program that you are going through is called basically a new scholarship, okay? It's not the retention program, it's the recruitment program. So just to clarify some of the terminology you might read in this document. So going through this document very quickly, it's basically talking about the program itself, minimum eligibility requirement. We summarize these in my discussion. Some of the areas that they are looking for, of course, Cyber Scholarship Program. So it's very important for them that someone will be in the cyber environment. Okay, it's very hard to define cyber, okay, as some of you might realize by now. It's a very, very generic term and can be used in different contexts to mean different things. But in summary here, we're expecting people to be in the technical side of cyber. Okay, this also includes some non-technical, like policies. So if anyone is an MIS, for instance, okay, who is now housed in our department, especially for the information technology students, they are still interested in if they are interested in apply, they can apply. I have actually placed one student before in this scholarship, even when the department was totally in the College of Business, so this is still fine. As you can see, there's a comprehensive list of stuff, but if you are so I get this question a lot. if you are a software engineering student here at IUP, computer science software engineering, I strongly encourage you, when you pick your minor, you pick it in cybersecurity. So you indicate that you have some exposure to the content we offer here in cyber, like networking, like digital forensics, like operating systems and other courses, which is distinguish someone in the field from a traditional computer science. Okay. Moving on, as I said, we evaluate your applications and we submit our evaluation. I would like to bring your attention here, if you didn't read this application requirement carefully, or if you didn't read it at all, the OF 612. These are 6 simple questions, but answer to these questions is very crucial. Okay, please take that seriously. Okay, so you have months before the deadline. You have to still until end of November, you have the whole December, you have the whole January, and during that time you probably have 5 weeks of no school. I know it's a holiday season, but you have a lot of time, I'm assuming, to give these things a serious actually consideration. So when you answer these 6 questions, make sure you do your best answering them. Okay, this is not something you finish in a few minutes. This is something that you have to give yourself time to write very, very carefully. You have to ask someone else to, double check on it, a second eye, or things like that. So this is one of the general but important recommendation I give to all of you. Thanks to the application size, many of you already, signed in. I saw this. I know that some of you have some issues. I will address this in a second, but this is just, let's go back because we have a lot of things to cover. So, okay. Program fact sheet. I'm sure that also some of you checked that, but to quickly review this one, we talked about the GPA requirement. We talked about, if you graduate, undergrads, different GPA. You have to be a US citizen because you have to obtain security clearance to work in these positions. You have to be full-time, actually, to receive the scholarship. So part-time student cannot apply. You have to be full-time. And the definition of full-time, you have 12 credits or more per semester. So make sure this is the case. You have to be enrolled, of course, in a Center of Academic Excellence, which is IUP. So you are fine with that. And your area of studies, as I discussed a few moments ago, needs to be within cyber. Okay. So you cannot apply if you only have 1 semester before graduation. You have to have at least 1 full year. We talked about the advantage. Here's important dates, okay? So we already in that phase between the opening of the application. Some of you already signed in and created accounts, some still. I encourage you to start that process very, very soon. Deadline is February 1st. This is an absolute deadline, guys. You miss this, it's done deal, okay? So keep this in mind. They will finish the selection, and actually we are, as IUP, we have to write a grant, to send this application, as I said before. So basically, we are given until end of February to finish that task after we get your application. And then they take roughly a month and few days to finish the process at the agency. So DoD actually select you, or those who are actually being picked will be identified, and then they will be notified by, okay, April 14th. And these are, again, specifically this one and this one. Typically, these are just like, approximate dates. So if you didn't get notified on April 14th, don't think, okay, no, they told us April 15, it has to be April 15. Some factors sometimes, push this stuff, a few days later. So keep this in mind, but these are absolute deadline. Okay, you cannot just do anything about that. Okay, quick start guide. Again, this is the whole thing. Probably some of you already looked at it and don't want to waste our time, but this is basically the couple of pages talking about the very basic stuff, how to sign up, a snapshot of the application. Of course, we'll go now into a much more deep dive into the application process itself, which is probably one of the most important things we need to do today in this session. So, if you didn't read these stuff, please go ahead and read them in details. I just give you a quick summary. I need to move on now to basically go through how you apply. Before doing that, I'm asking you one more time, any questions? Anyone has any questions so far? Any question for me, guys? No? This is thumbs down, yeah? Which means no, okay, that's fine. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. And I believe I have it in my, which is probably will be a little bit better to share the PDF itself. So let me stop sharing here for a second. Okay, guys. If you click on the last link on that page, it's labeled snapshot CySP application tool snapshot. I took this snapshot when they started actually implementing the new system. In the past, we used to apply actually through paper application, which was a different method of submitting your application. So I'm going just through, I took these snapshots myself, so it's my own stuff with some comments I included in a trial to help any new student see the application, even a snapshot before even signing up to the system. The system might change a little bit since I took this snapshot, but the changes will not be significant at all. They will be the same framework, same two phases, application, etc. But these are just a few things and comment and some valuable commentary from my side to you guys. Website here at IUP is called iup.edu/DoD scholarship, So you go to that alias, it takes you to that site I showed you. So once you go to the application, you have to sign up. I got an email from some students saying issues with signing up. I need to clarify this, given that we are here on the Zoom session. Any problem signing up, in particular, picking a unique username for yourself, guys? For those of you who signed up, can you share your experience with us? So this might help other students. I don't see your student application side by the way. I cannot, I see once you apply, of course, I see it, but I don't go through the process as a student. I go to the process as a faculty, so we have different interfaces. Okay, for those of you who already signed up, guys, any issues signing up, picking a username? Okay, I need to hear, people here.
I didn't have any issues, but I had a pre-existing account, so I had to make sure that I was signing into the right account.
Okay, yeah, if you created account in the past, make sure you sign in, you deactivated, you ask them to reset the password and you sign in. Okay, thanks Dylan for sharing that. Any other one who recently signed up but didn't have an account in the past? Any issues selecting a unique username? No, yes?
I haven't signed up yet, but I have a quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
Like when we do the application, do you know if you need like any recommendation letters or like?
Yeah. Well, getting into that, yes. You'll need
Okay.
2 recommendation letter, yep.
Okay.
We are getting into that. Just give us just few moments. Okay, anything regarding the sign up, guys? Okay, so in case if you are facing issues signing up again, and each case looks different, as you can see, many of you, I had suggested some, tips in my reply email to you. If not, please contact the, technical support and customer service. You'll find a little link on the sign up page, that will allow you to do that. In fact, myself, when I was trying to sign up again for my account, because this is a government website, they basically expire your, I think, account every like 90 days if you didn't sign up. So I didn't sign up since summer. So basically, when I sign up again, my account was disabled. So I have to go and chat it with them, and basically they solve the problem in a few minutes for me. by reactivating my account, sending me a new password, etc. So I encourage you to just contact their customer service, and they should be able to help you. Okay, so when you sign up, this is what you will get. Actually, it's an application which has two parts. Very, very important. Okay. If you withdraw your application typically before the deadline, you should be able to edit it and submit it again. If this happened after, February 1st, which is the deadline for application, it's done deal. Okay, you cannot do anything after that. I cannot do anything for you. In fact, although we have been working with these people for a long time, I personally have known some of them for almost 2 decades now. And we have very, very good connection with them. And, some in this particular program, they really didn't accept any like special requests, okay, even for me. So sometimes, because of the large number of application, I understand you want to be fair with everyone. Some point of time I was working with a student actually submitting his application because he started in the last minute, which is I never encourage any one of you to do that. We were working actually even until after the deadline on that night. I was trying to help him, and he missed it with few minutes. That's it. Didn't work. So you have to submit the application before 11:59 p.m. on February 1st. So this is something to know. Password, I believe, is 12 characters or more. Username, you have to be unique. Try different combination of very strange username if they accept a typical username. If not, again, contact the customer service. You need to understand that we used to have a paper application, and the process was totally different because the student just filled paper application. It was first really paper, and then PDF, you fill it in, and then you send it to me. I review it and give you feedback and try to help making it as improve it as much as we can. But now it's online. You have ownership of the application, guys. And this is what I mentioned to some of you who were with me on NAVSub, when we had that lunch together. Okay, this is a 50K package a year. Give it the seriousness of what it is. Okay, this is not a scholarship, a $100 or $1,000 you will get here from here and there that will help you with your tuition. This is a total package of 50K a year. Give it the seriousness it deserves. Okay, so when we talk about something, with this scale, I think all of you are mature now to understand this is a big deal. So make sure you just are serious. You answer this question to the best of your ability. You take your time. You do stuff. You improve it. It's not just one first trial, etc. So take ownership of your application and give it the seriousness it deserves. Okay, 2 parts. The first part of the application is basically to determine your eligibility. So for those of you who already started accounts, probably you saw this. It will ask you a few questions, including personal info, demographics, requirement, academic requirement, degree-related requirement. So you have to answer these questions. Example in front of you here in demographic here. Ethnicity, for instance, you're going to just click yes, Caucasian, white, Asian, African American, male, female, decline to answer, things like that. Very basic information about you, but the main reason for these 7 questions is to determine if you are eligible to apply or not. For instance, if I answer this question, if I'm a student submitting this application, I answer, okay, are you a US citizen? I said no. Immediately you are disqualified, okay, because US citizenship is required for this program. So keep that in mind, answer this questions to the best of your ability. Of course, you should be able to, when they ask you about, are you on a CEE, for instance, you need to understand what is a CEE. CEE for Center of Academic Excellence. This is IUP. This is where I actually, the director of the center, since before you get born, I'm just kidding, for the past 11 or so years. So you were so young. So we build all these programs here at IUP with all that success, probably you saw in the cybersecurity days or when you came to NAVSAB, and you know how we have very established connection with many people across the nation. We get even requests from White House asking about some of our initiative. So we have, luckily, a very good program here at IUP, and I think you should be proud that you are here and you are getting exposed to these opportunities that probably many people don't have the chance of receiving. Okay, answer this to the best of your ability, as I said, and of course accurately. Everything has to be very, very accurate. You have to sign on that. In terms of official transcript, it's not needed even if the text here say submit an official transcript. An unofficial transcript will work during the application time. If selected, they might require the official transcript from you. But for now, just go to my IUP, print your, we'll talk about this in a second, print your unofficial transcript after your fall grades are posted. Is this clear? Don't do this now. You have to wait until fall ends, okay? Your grade is posted by December 20-something, 20th, around that time, 18th, 19th, 20th. Once you see your grade updated fall and your GPA is updated after fall, you have to include this transcript and your updated GPA on your application. So your GPA has to be after fall GPA. Is this clear, guys? Can I see a thumbs up? Don't submit a transcript now. Wait until fall ends, grades are posted, GPA is updated, then submit your GPA and the transcripts with updated information. Okay? Okay, going forward again, at that time, say if you are now having a 3.2 GPA and unfortunately you screwed up something in fall and your GPA is 3.19 at the end of the fall, unfortunately you are not eligible to apply. So after the fall, when you submit your application, your GPA must be above 3.2 or above. Clear? So make sure you can assume, if you are on the safe side, you can just start the application and part one, you say, yes, my GPA is just like, 3.2 or above. If you said no now, you are ineligible and the application will not take you to the next step. Okay. Degree-related information says they'll ask you, of course, about if you are just in the fall here. And again, as I said, this is just a snapshot taken earlier, so don't worry exactly about the dates here. In your application will be the correct date. So you have to answer these questions. And once you finish the first phase, you are ready to move to the second phase. First phase for eligibility. Once they said, okay, you are eligible, congratulations. You are off to a great start. Now let's start on part two, which will ask you to add additional information, of course, and specific information about your application. Okay, so as you can see, part two will ask about like a professional summary here, starting by education, asking about your university and just the specific programs that you are in. Please use accurate information. In the past, this was something which is, again, sometimes can be confusing and it can be a negative thing in your application. Okay, you need to understand what's the name of your program. Okay, so the official name saying, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science / Cybersecurity track. This is the official name. Just look in your transcript and you'll see the official name if you don't remember that. So make sure you use official and accurate terms here when you're filling an application that can give you 50K a year. So take it seriously. If you worked before, even at Giant Eagle or Walmart, whatever, any work, you need to include it here if you choose to, okay? So you have to have full basic information, including salary too. If you are hourly, you're not getting paid hourly, whatever, you need to include this information here. Unfortunately, these are required, actually, field, so you have to enter information here. So if you choose to say, okay, I worked at, Walmart during summer of last year, whatever, mention this. This is very big. because key project and activities outside the classroom are some of the stuff they are very interested in knowing about you. So if you have done like, if you develop just, client server architecture, application, a web server, anything in just like operating system, a process simulator, anything. I know some of you are much younger, these upper level courses, but anything, if you did something in just like, in your programming courses, you did a program to compute an invoice, for instance, as simple as that. Some programs that can express your ability in a certain area, okay, that you would like to highlight or shine. Here, you did even in high school, if it is a serious project you have done and you went to pre-save, for instance, or just like, and went to, present that in Pittsburgh or even ISAF or whatever, any of these, opportunities or just experience that you gain in the past or currently going through until the deadline of the application, included here. Okay, it's important to highlight the skills you have. This is a very competitive program, as I said. So key project here, you just have like you read the details here and you describe, I have participated in blah, 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 etc. We did this. This is the outcome. This is what I learned, and so on. Taylor, I believe, asked about the letter of recommendation. Yes, you have to submit 2 letters of recommendation with your application. One of them must come from a faculty member. So one of the faculty members who taught you, who knows you very well, okay, that you are comfy asking him or her to write you a recommendation letter, please go ahead. That faculty has to write a recommendation letter on an official recommendation letter, which means it has to be on a letterhead. It has to have the general structure of a recommendation letter. All your faculty, of course, know this very well. And it has to be signed and converted as a PDF file. This one letter of recommendations, the faculty will share directly with you. You will take that letter of recommendations, the PDF, and upload that into the tool, into the Avio application system. There's another letter of recommendation that can also come from another faculty. So if you have another faculty who's willing to write you a letter of recommendation, also approach him or her. This faculty will write you the letter of recommendation, but this letter of recommendation will also follow the same thing I discussed with you earlier, but this letter of recommendation must be sent directly to the CySP Program Management Office, PMO. The email and the instructions, well, you will find them in the application tool. Here is the big thing you need to understand. When you ask someone to write you a letter of recommendation, give them time. People are busy and doing other stuff too. This is an extra thing you are asking them to do. So you have to plan ahead and make sure that whoever writes you a letter of recommendation, he or she will send that email directly to the program management office at the CYSP in NSA by February 1st deadline. If he or she sends a letter of recommendation after the deadline, your application is disqualified. Okay, keep this in mind. So you have to make sure that whoever you approach for a letter of recommendation will be committed to send that letter before the deadline, so your application will be considered. Okay, this is a change this year, by the way. Okay, all of my discussion so far is about new students. I know that we have one returning student here, so Julia's here. You can ask even her some questions, about her experience, although she's like few months in the program still. But for returning students, the process is a little bit different. I can talk about this with returning student if they have question. But for returning students, they have to get a letter of recommendation directly from the program directly, which is me, and I basically give them that letter, and they have to upload it into the tool. For new student, typically, most student, I encourage them to get letter of recommendation from any faculty or anyone, any manager you work at, say in a summer internship last summer, and you have an advisor or a manager that you reported to. This is a good thing. You play sport and your coach knows you very well. Ask him or her to write you a letter of recommendation. It doesn't have to come from two faculty. At least one faculty is a requirement. Any question regarding letter of recommendation here, guys?
I have a quick one.
Sure.
Does the recommendation letter have to be from an IUP staff member? I'm a transfer from Clarion, and for my previous applications for other things, I've received one from my old computer science teacher because he's had me longer than the ones here. So am I allowed to get a letter from him as well?
I would say as long as it's an updated letter, it's not like a letter he wrote like a couple of years ago or 1 year ago. If he is willing to update that letter and at least see an updated date on the letter, I would say, yeah, you can use that letter, yes. But if it is something outdated, I'll leave it to your discretion. It will not be as strong in your application.
It was written like last month, so I can just ask
Oh,
him.
sure. If it is last month, yeah. If
Okay,
it is
thank
in
you.
this fall, yeah, sure. And you are currently an IUP student, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to include just as one special case. Let me clarify to everyone. If you are a transfer student, you must have a GPA from IUP. This is why I'm saying you have to wait until end of fall and you get your GPA. If this is your first semester at IUP, this will be your first GPA at IUP. So any transfer course doesn't contribute to your GPA, as many of you know. So basically, make sure you wait on, as I said, and you get a GPA from IUP. This is the one you're gonna submit with your application. Okay, any other question, guys?
You said only one of these recommendations has to be sent directly, correct?
Yes, one of them has to be sent directly. One of them has to be from a faculty who knows you very well. So you are an IUP student, so I'm assuming this should be an IUP faculty, unless you are a special case like Taylor. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, guys, regarding letter of recommendation or any other thing so far? No? Okay. Getting to very important stuff too. OF 612. If you read that document I showed you quickly at the beginning, which is application requirements and background document, you will find them talking about something called OF 612. These are 6 competencies. Okay, 6 different questions that they ask you. Questions are really very simple. The questions themselves is not, challenging or anything like, which someone will not be able to answer. The whole idea is how good your answer is. So these are questions. Some of them are technical questions asking you about your background in cybersecurity and some of the techniques you knew. I understand some of you at this stage might not even know what cybersecurity is all about, okay? But you try to answer to the best of your ability. If you are a special case, and I believe I have a couple of students in this case, they are officially freshmen. This is the first semester at IUP, but given that they have some dual enrolled courses or AB courses, they will be officially junior at the beginning of fall 2024, and they are eligible to apply. In fact, I have a student before, I placed him in CySP. He came to IUP, graduated in 2.5 years, and just joined his agency. He was even, I got him a special, just treatment. He was younger than 18, which is an eligibility criteria, by the way. So you got him into the program and we waived some of the requirement, which is the age requirement. He was so young, but he has a lot of AB courses and they were enrolled classes before coming to IUP. Got into the CYSP program when he was even younger than 18, graduated in 2.5 years and joined his work. So just to back to our topic here, which is answer this question to the best of your ability, get someone else to, get a double check on your English, just your grammar and things like that. these can be very, very helpful to improve the chances of your application and to make it strong application while competing with people from across the nation, guys. This is something big. So this is my advice regarding the OF 612, and all these 6 questions are there and also in the document. If you would like to look at them even before signing up to the system, they are on that application background and requirements document I showed you earlier. Any question regarding the 6 competencies, OF 612? Okay. Anyone who attended the NAIF sub seminar last week probably heard about picking an agency. The application will allow you to select your preference. Okay. And this is something you need to just understand. They divide them into the Department of the Navy and just probably some, intelligence community, Army, whatever, Air Force. You pick that, you put your preference. Okay, one is number one. So for instance, if you really like NAV sub people that you met last Thursday, and you would like to consider them as your first top choice, just put them here as number one. If you're just interested in something which is very, very hard to get in, I don't know if they are even listing it in the snapshot, probably it's somewhere up in there. If you are interested in joining NSA, for instance, you say NSA is number 2, and so on. This is optional, but as Mr. Davis, in his presentation highlighted to all of you, they can be very important, especially in cases where, people are qualified and more than one agency is interested in them, things like that. So I strongly encourage you to just, don't just overlook this one. And given just if you're interested in NIFSUP, I strongly encourage you to put this one. They are in Central PA. So most of you are from Pennsylvania here, I'm assuming, and might be interested in staying here in your home state. So this is something to consider. But again, it's up to you. You can leave that blank. It's optional, but I would not recommend that. Pick some agencies that you are interested in, consider NAFSUB, seriously, because you are always interested in our students. Okay, security clearance. Okay, if you had a security clearance before, great. Okay, tell us which level. If you never had a security clearance, okay, like myself, for instance, I'm a professor, I work in academia, I just prepare you guys, okay? Yeah, so you pick NA, not applicable. Okay, wrapping everything, make sure you double check everything in your application. Don't submit the application unless you review it several times. So review everything, make sure that your transcripts say and the letter of recommendation. In your case, you'll only have one letter of recommendation. By the way, the second one is not uploaded here. As I said, this is a change this year. It has to be sent directly to the PMO. So double check, just view the transcript, make sure it's readable. Sometimes, when we upload files, file gets corrupted, make sure your application is of high quality, It's very frustrating that you submit your application and I go to review it after February 1st, for instance, and then the deadline passed, I cannot help at all. After that, I click in this link and I see a corrupt file. Double check. Okay, it's your application, you own it. Make sure you double check everything and you submit a quality application. Okay, moving on. Before you end your application, you have to certify your application. You have the opportunity, by the way, to add any comments if you need, or if needed. You click certify and then you submit. Once submitted, okay, if you withdraw, you withdraw. There's one exception I mentioned at the beginning, which I don't even recommend doing it. Okay, because you know, these tools are not perfect. They have some glitches sometime, and okay, I would not risk it with 50K. Okay, so I would review the application thoroughly, you know, from A to Z, everything I submitted or I uploaded first in the application before I go ahead and hit this little submit button. Okay, make, you know, consideration of withdrawing the application to re-edit it a very last resort because it might cause issues, you know. I wouldn't do that. I will make sure that before I submit, I have full trust that the application looks fine. One thing also for people who plan ahead and you would like to use my expertise, for instance, in the system, I built this program, you know, here, you know, for years. So finish your application on January 20th or 1st or something. Once the semester starts, shoot me an email. Okay, Dr. Farag, can you look my application? Can you check and see if I missed anything? Do you have any recommendation? I'll just go and check it for you. Okay. This is the equivalent in the old days, people giving me their paper application. Okay, hey, Dr. Farag, can you check it for us? You know, and I usually check and find, you know, 5, 6 issues, give them back to the application to fix it and give it back to me. Again, this was feasible because of paper application. Now it's electronic. So the only way for you to do that, just do you know, finish your application early. Don't send me an email saying, okay, and just February 1st at 5 p.m., Dr. Farag, can you check my application, which is due in a couple of hours? You know, I might be doing something. I might be submitting a $1 million grant. You know, I might do just be very busy with other stuff. So plan ahead. Give yourself some time if you would like me to even help you more and check your application. And I'm willing to do that as long as you're gonna give me time to do this. This is the end of the application process, guys, and I believe we address almost all the general stuff here. There's a lot of details. I was trying to cram all of them in a very short 50 minutes so far, but I need to stop now here and I'll even stop sharing. So hopefully I can see some of your faces that you are hiding here, or just if you have something to ask. So question, guys. If you have any questions you would like to share with or experience or anything, I have Julia with me here on the call. Julia, do you want to share anything from your experience in the CYSP?
I think the application is relatively simple, but I would recommend starting it a little bit early. Ask for your letters of recommendation right after finals, just to give your professors enough time to do that. I wouldn't start it at the last minute because it is a little bit of a lengthier process for new applicants. When you're reapplying, it's not nearly as bad, but definitely be on top of it.
Sure. Thanks, Julia, for the hints here, which align with what I was trying to preach. But thanks a lot for emphasizing that. Other question from new students, guys. Everyone in this call, I believe, are the new students. Go ahead, Anthony.
Within like the computer science department or the cybersecurity department, are there any faculty that like we are unable to ask for letters of recommendation due to like conflicts of interest or anything like that?
What do you mean by conflict of interest?
For example, if a faculty member that we know is involved like with the program, would they be able to give us a letter of recommendation?
Okay. If you're talking about me specifically, I usually tell my new student, and probably some of you are aware of that, who approached me, I do evaluate these applications. So I would just, consider myself as the last person to go to and ask for a letter of recommendation. I have to evaluate it anyway. So I would recommend having someone else. I know that some of you might be in a position that you didn't have except me in class, so I understand that. And I can talk, as a special case about this by email. But other than that, exert your efforts to get a letter of recommendation from someone other than me if you're a new student. I have to write, by the way, a letter of recommendation for every returning student. They cannot get it from anyone else. It has to be from the PI, of the grant. This is a stipulation. For new student, it doesn't. So I really use that opportunity to just, I need to see some people actually, and this is fine, by the way, some people didn't get computer science faculty to write you a letter of recommendation. So some of them, in the past, and these are people who are currently were selected. So you can understand this is not like a negative thing. So they got actually a letter of recommendation from the English professor. Okay, from just like, political science professor, whatever professor, as long as the letter speaks well about you, because you are not just interested in your technical aspect, they're going to evaluate this in key project and OF 612 and other areas, but they want to see you as a person too. How people, are you reliable? When you are given a task, are you just, up to the bar? Things like that. So the letter of recommendation, don't see that it has to be from a technical faculty. Okay. In a special case, like few of you are really, up in their number of credits and eligible, although this is their freshman year, for instance, first semester freshman year, you are a special case, of course. This is not the normal case. You didn't have many computer science faculty, probably one, okay? Don't limit yourself to computer science faculty. But again, you can just continue this discussion via email, Ainsley, or on my office hour if you want. I will be happy to address your special case. Okay, other question?
For the letter of recommendation that's being sent in, should we send it when we submit, like, should we ask them to send it when we submit the application, or can it be anytime?
Anytime before the deadline.
Okay.
And I think that, of course, because you understand you're going to submit it to one email, the entire nation will submit to. So please give clear, clarification to the professor you are asking to submit, or your advisor or whatever for that letter. The email address has to be very, very, very accurate, of course. The email subject has to follow a certain format. Please follow the instruction in your tool regarding that, and communicate this information to the one who's going to send the letter of recommendation to you, to make sure that they can easily identify that. They receive hundreds of emails. I personally receive between like 150 to 200 emails a day. I'm not kidding. Okay. So imagine I'm just one person involved in tons of stuff. Yes, but this is something that many people will send. So make sure you follow that, very simple instruction for yourself. So communicate this to your, the recommender, and tell him or her, please, subject of the email has to be, okay, CySP, say, letter of recommendation for Dylan, Timbrook, things like that. I'm just guessing. Follow the instruction and communicate this instruction to your recommender. So this is my best advice. Okay, great. This is an excellent question, by the way, Dylan, because yes, anytime before that, but of course, make sure you follow the instruction, and make sure, please, let me emphasize this, I mentioned in my discussion earlier, make sure that you follow up with your recommender to make sure that he or she sends the letter. Because if they don't send the letter, your application is disqualified. So, and they have a deadline which is absolute. I really couldn't just do anything for that student. I feel unfortunate after a couple of years, but yeah, this is life. You have to make sure that you submit and follow. And the whole idea is he waited until the last minute. That's why I'm trying to repeat myself 100 times here. Plan ahead. Also, Julia mentioned that. Don't wait until the last minute. You have over 2 months, guys, to finish one application. Just plan ahead. Okay, other question, guys, or anything I can help you with today before we wrap our discussion?
So for the letter of recommendations,
Mhm.
does it have to be from a professor, or are you able to have like someone else who's already worked with the government, or like a computer engineer? Are they able to write it for you, or does it have to specifically be from the college?
One of them has to be from your professor, one of them. The second one can be from anyone who knows you very well. as I mentioned in my discussion, it can be a manager that you worked with him, or your supervisor at Walmart, or whatever, your coach, if you are in the swim team, whatever, okay? Someone who knows you very well and can write about you as a person. Okay, is this clear?
Got it. Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
A follow-up to this question, guys. The letter has to be official, meaning it has to be on the letterhead of the organization that that person belonged to. So if, for example, if that person was your manager at a Cyber SN company, yes, this is a real company, by the way. Okay, so he or she has to use the letterhead of that organization and write the letter of recommendation, sign it, okay, and either send it directly to that email or give it to you as a PDF to upload into the platform, the online system. Any question regarding letter of recommendation, guys, other than these?
This doesn't apply to recommendation, but you mentioned like a minor in cyber. If you're like I'm a software engineer, like do you think it's a disadvantage if I don't have one? And
Yeah,
like
I think so, yeah, of course, because you are applying for an opportunity called Cyber Scholarship Program. Simply, they are looking for people in cyber area. So if you are not in the cybersecurity, okay, which is the only accredited, program in our entire, just computer science programs, it's designated a Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense by NSA. We have also ABIT accredited, which is language and systems. I don't think if they will still alive by next year or not. There's some changes in our programs ongoing. Yeah, I strongly encourage anyone who's not in cybersecurity to have a minor in cybersecurity, at least. From my, simple, humble experience, yeah, this is a plus.
I would just like to say that I'm a software engineering major and I'm also a returning student. So it is possible to get the scholarship as a software engineer, but it does help to have a strong background in your classes and good letters of recommendation. But as long as you're within a computer science discipline, you still have a good chance of getting it.
Sure. Thanks for the addition, Julia. Yeah, the scholarship is about cyber and they highlight cyber. And this is very important for anyone to understand that. Whether the agency doesn't focus on cyber or not is a different story. This is another factor they consider in the selection. But there's many other people who select who just look at the literal requirement of the program. So just if you are asking my opinion as a program director, I definitely say if you still, I'm not saying you will not get picked if you are in computer science BA or language and systems. In fact, I placed the students, as Julia said before, from even non-computer science. I mentioned this in my discussion, okay? As long as they have some focus on cyber and they can demonstrate that in their application, this will satisfy the staff. In terms of academics, the only thing if you are not in cybersecurity, to focus on cyber is to have a minor in cybersecurity. So that's why I always recommend that to everyone applying for the CySP. Okay, other questions or other input? Okay, if you don't have any question, guys, and thanks for joining us in this meeting. If at any point of time you have any question about the CySP or anything else we have been involved in the Institute for Cybersecurity, some of you attended the the Cybersecurity Day and probably saw some of our programming and opportunities other than this. Just shoot me an email. I'll be glad to help once I'm able to. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you around. Enjoy also Thanksgiving and have a nice Thanksgiving break. We're still officially not in a break, but it will start officially Wednesday. Okay, have a nice day.
You too.
See
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Farag.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, guys. See
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank
You
you.
too.